And so we go to the last of the three great temples. We began in the morning with Kulitale. In the afternoon, we struggled our way up Ayyar Malai. And finally, now in the evening, we are off to Thirungoi Malai. Our calf muscles are stiff, our ankles are aching, and we have 500 and odd steps to climb before we reach the top of this hill. 500 and odd sounds a lot less than 1018, which is what we climbed when we went up Ayyar Malai. But remember that this is a temple that hardly sees any visitors. And so the steps are in a fair state of disrepair. Unlike Ayyar Malai, where all the steps are very nice, and then you've got a pavilion that covers your head from the sun, here there is nothing. You just need to climb up. And at certain places, the steps have given away, and so you have to struggle in order to maintain your balance as you climb up to the top. One word of warning, unlike Ayyar Malai, this temple is open all 3 times of the day. And never make the mistake of climbing up in the morning, because by the time you come back, the steps are baking hot. And remember, you have to be barefoot just as you were in Ayyar Malai. And therefore, when you come down, it's a near impossible exercise trying to reach the base of the hill. So it is best that this climb is attempted in the evening, just as the sun is setting and the steps are just a little warm. The hill is called Thirungoi Malai because Agastya is said to have worshipped Lord Shiva over here in the form of a bee. He was far smarter than we were. He went in the morning to Kulitale. In the afternoon, he climbed up Ayyar Malai. By the time he came in the evening to Thirungoi Malai, the temple was going to close and he did not know how he was going to manage it. He transformed himself into a bee and climbed and flew up and had his darshan of the Lord. And that is how the place is called Thirungoi Malai. Theni, from Theni it becomes E, and therefore Thirungoi Malai. But a far more beautiful name is Maragatachalam, the temple of the emerald or the hill of the emerald. There is of course a legend concerning Vayu and Adisesha, and I will be telling that to you shortly. But more importantly, this is a hill that is green all the time of the year. The river Kaveri flows a short distance away. In fact, it is so very picturesque that you can sometimes not tear your eyes away from the river and then begin to look at the hill. And then when you look at the hill, you find it so beautiful that you cannot bear to turn back and look at the river. And the hill, as I said, is green right through the year, and therefore Maragatachalam is such an appropriate name for this hill. And now, having taken our shoes off and worshipped at the Siddhar temple at the base, we begin climbing up to the top. The legend at Thirungoi Malai has to do with a competition between Vayu, the wind god, and Adisesha, the divine serpent on whom Lord Vishnu reclines. It is said that the serpent went and held the Mount Meru tightly within it, while Vayu tried to prise the mountain out. In the event, Vayu managed to dislodge 5 peaks, each one of which carried a precious stone. And the one with the emerald came and fell and became Thirungoi Malai. To look at, this is really an emerald mountain or a hill. It's not really a mountain. And it is green all the time. And it is therefore no wonder that all the poets who sang about this place described its natural beauty to a great extent. More on that when we see the poems that are connected with this particular spot. If you thought Thiruvatpoki or Ayyar Malai was a small village, Thirungoi Malai is even smaller. And if you are unable to climb up the hill, you need to avail the services of doli bearers, but these people have to come all the way from Thiruvatpoki. And they do come, and they carry those who are unable to make the climb all the way up to the top of the hill. Climbing up, as I said earlier, is quite tough, and it involves a lot of huffing and puffing, several breaks in the middle, but you do manage to reach the summit, which has one single Rajagopuram. The temple has much to do with the Cholas, particularly the later Cholas, those who came after Rajaraja and Rajendra. When you enter the temple, you find that you are the sole pilgrims over there. It is a very simple structure with just one circumambulatory corridor and then inside the various sanctums for the deities. The Lord here goes by the name of Maragatachaleshwara and he faces east. It is said that on certain days, particularly the days immediately prior to Mahashivaratri, which falls in the month of Marchi, which is February-March, the sun's rays fall directly onto the linga. It is also believed that when camphor is lit and waved on the linga, it glows with a greenish hue, something that I was not able to see when I visited this shrine. The goddess here is tall, standing and with 4 arms, and she goes by the name of Maragatambike. Rather like goddess Akhilandeshwari at Thiruvanekkaval, she is got Abhay Mudra and Varamudra, and the 2 rear hands sport lotuses. There are besides sanctums for Ganesha, Muruga and Dakshinamurti and several other deities. Among the great poets who came over here was Jnanasambandha. Jnanasambandha dedicated a decade of verses on this particular temple, and he describes the beauty of this shrine. Let us see what he has to say. Jnanasambandha says, Vinayayina Tirtha Arule Puriyum Vikritan Virikondrai Nanayar Mudimel Madiyum Shudum Nambanamalgu Tanayar Kamala Malarmel Uraivan Talayodu Analendum Yenayal Udayan Umayalodum Ingoi Malayare. He describes Lord Shiva as one who is forever blessing his devotees and who is the Lord of destruction, Vikritan, and in his hair he bears the Kondrai flowers and the river and the moon. And he always means well by his devotees. In one hand he bears the skull of Brahma who sits on the lotus, and he also bears the flame. He rules over me, he is united with Uma, and he is the one who lives in Ingoi Malai. There is another verse which describes Ravana's trying to lift the Himalayas. Parakkum Perumai Ilangai Ennum Padiyir Polivaya Arakkar Kiraivan Mudiyum Tolum Aniyar Viral Tannal Nerikki Adarthu Nimala Potri Endru Nindretha Irakkam Purindar Umayalodum Ingoi Malayare. So Lanka, which had the prowess of flying here and there, that country's king comes and tries to lift the entire mountain, whereupon Shiva with one foot presses it down to such an extent that Ravana is forced to scream in praise of the Lord, and then he is compassionate and he blesses Ravana. In yet another verse, Samandar describes wild boars frolicking around this hill. Vanat tuyarthan maditoi shadaimel matta malarshudi Tenottanamen Muriman Vizhiyal Devi Bhagamak Kanathiravil Eri Kondadum Kadavul Ulageta Yena Thiral Vandi Izhiyum Saral Ingoi Malayare. So Yena Thiral, the wild pigs come in groups and wander around this particular hillock. The same emphasis on natural beauty comes from Nakirar's 70 verses on Thirungoi Malai. And in those, he describes not only the plants in this area, he also describes deer, monkeys, elephants, and he describes the native population, which are all Kuravas, gypsies. And they come here and they not only frolic, they play around with each other, they help the animals, they feed the animals. There are wonderful descriptions of the natural beauty. The first verse, Adiyum, Mudiyum, Ariyum, Ayanum, Padiyum, Vishumbumai, Teri, Nodiyum Kal, Innadena Ariya, Ingoye, Omkaram, Annadena, Nindran Malai. When Brahma and Vishnu tried to see where were the 2 ends of the Lord, and they respectively went into space and burrowed into the earth and then faltered and became tired and did not understand what was happening, this Lord of Ingoi Malai came and stood in the form of Omkara and established his greatness. So this is the first verse in Nakirar's Ingoi Malai Ezhuvathu. It's a beautiful set of verses which, if you find time, you should read. When we went on this heritage tour comprising the 3 sthalams on the banks of the Akhanda Kaveri, we had singer Vivek Sadashivam accompany us, and when we reached the summit, he sang Samandar's Thevaram for us. In the midst of that great silence in the temple, it was really wonderful to listen to. Please listen to him now sing that verse as we recorded it in that temple.
It's supposed to be normally sung. So,
சிவபெருமானுக்கு உகந்த ராகம்னு வேற பேராச்சு.
வானத்தூயர் தன்மதி தோய், வானத்தூயர் தன்மதி தோய், சடை மேல் மத்த மலர் சூடி, வானத்தூயர் தன்மதி தோய், சடை மேல் மத்த மலர் சூடி, தேனொத்தனம் என் மொழிமான் விழியால், தேனொத்தனம் என் மொழிமான் விழியாள், தேவி பாகம் தேனொத்தனம் என் மொழிமான் விழியாள், தேவி பாகம் கானத்திரவில் எரி கொண்டாடும் கடவுள் உலகத்த, கானத்திரவில் எரி கொண்டாடும் கடவுள் உலகத்த, ஏனத்தீரள் வந்திழியும் சாரல் ஈங்கோய் மலையாரே, ஏனத்தீரள் வந்திழியும் சாரல் ஈங்கோய் மலையாரே, ஈங்கோய் மலையாரே, ஏனத்தீரள் வந்திழியும் சாரல் ஈங்கோய் மலையாரே, ஈங்கோய் மலையாரே.
Did Muthuswami Dikshitar come to this temple? There is a theory that because he came to Kulithalai and then he visited Thiruvatpoki, he must have come to Tirungoi Malai as well. And people normally attribute the song Maragatha Lingam in Raga Vasanta to have been composed over here. But there are several inaccuracies as far as this song is concerned. For instance, it very clearly states that the goddess is Manikyavalli, whereas the goddess here is Maragathambike. And then the song also says Maha Vilvavana Madhya Viharam. It says the Lord is in the middle of a forest of Vilva trees. There is no Vilva tree or no forest of Vilva trees over here. The Sthala Vriksha is a tamarind tree. So it is very unlikely that Dikshitar came to this temple. And we must also remember that Maragatha Lingam is not one of the songs included in Subbarama Dikshitar's Sangeeta Sampradaya Pradarshini, the authentic collection of Dikshitar Kritis. And therefore it is in the realm of doubt. And I do believe that Dikshitar perhaps gave this temple a miss. Even though it is silence that greets you when you climb up to Tirungoi Malai, at one time this appears to have had plenty of music and dance as well. The scholar B.M. Sundaram writes of Devadasis attached to the Tirungoi Malai temple. And there is yet another proof of this in the memoirs of Dr. T.S.S. Rajan, who was a well-known surgeon from Trichy and a minister in the Congress government of Rajaji before independence. He came and bought land in Tirungoi Malai and tried to establish a farm. In this, he was not successful, but in his memoirs, he does write a beautiful description of the village as it was in his time. And he says that the entire village was of 300 acres. The Kaveri, that part of the Kaveri which is attached to this village, is 300 acres, and the hill in its base covers an area of 300 acres. He also states that the land attached to the temple was very fertile, and the Lord in his time was getting considerable revenue out of it. There is no sign of that today, and we have no idea where all that prosperity went. He also says that there were 8 families of Nageswaram players attached to this temple. There aren't any today. And he talks about the Devadasis who used to dance on certain occasions in the temple. Even in Dr. Rajan's time, it would appear that a considerable amount of decay had set in as far as this village was concerned. Certainly, he was not praising what he saw. Today, it appears to have shrunk even further. The Lord himself hardly gets any devotees, possibly because climbing up to the top is a fairly tiresome exercise. What made Jnanasambandha come? What made Nakirar come? Why don't people today go to this temple? That is the question that arises in our minds as we pray to the Lord and then take leave of him and Maragatambike. And so we are done with Tiruyingoimalai. We have managed to visit all the 3 temples of Kulithalai, Thiruvatpoki and Tiruyingoimalai. There are very interesting links between these 3 temples. Kulithalai, the linga faces north. In Thiruvatpoki, the linga faces the west, and in Tiruyingoimalai, it faces the east. The temple festivals, in Kulithalai, it is in the month of Thai, which is January, February, and then in Tiruyingoimalai, it is in the month of Masi, which is February, March. All 3 temples have a festival in Panguni, and then we have the main Brahmotsavam at Thiruvatpoki in the month of Chittirai. 2 of the temples, the first 2, Kulithalai and Thiruvatpoki, are linked by the legend of the Saptamatrikas killing the sage Katyayana, mistaking him to be Dhumralochana. The second and the third temples, that is Thiruvatpoki and Tiruyingoimalai, have a legend of a competition between Vayu and Adisesha. All 3 are Padal Petrasthalams, the first 2 having been sung on by Appar, the last one having been sung on by Jnanasambandha. And then we have other great compositions in Tamil on all the 3 temples. Muthuswami Dikshitar definitely came to the first 2, perhaps he came to the third one as well. All said and done, these are wonderful shrines that ought to be on any pilgrim's circuit. If you haven't visited these temples, do make a plan and do visit them soon.